We have Ethereum symbol ETH versus the dollar, and what do we have? We do have a drive of bullish divergence alongside a few drives of hidden bullish divergence coming in this whole complex potential low over here. Now, with that in mind, my sort of my potential strategy, my main trading strategy, which I refer to as a crown cross, you can refer to it as whatever the fuck you want. You can refer to it as crown is stupid, but I don't know why that would be relevant or why I even said that. But basically, as long as you are above the 55 in this case, I do look at this as still a healthy correction, so to speak. Now, that also does imply that, especially if we start to see the 9 exponential average cross to the downside of the 55, that would be your first major etchings of in this case, a macro reversal, as we already have a lower low and a lower high. However, we do have a very obvious chart right here, and this last 24 hours of price action was very significant with essentially reclaiming not just 55, but also all major movement averages right here. And we are doing this on low volatility with momentum oscillators turning up, and even the daily jewel still has positive curvature. It is not supported by DMI. If I saw that signal, at that point, I would actually be very confident in calling this one bullish. Unfortunately, we do not see that right now. So what is the most obvious trade right here? It's actually quite simple. We do have, or at least I have a, I do have a nice daily range between basically your high at 45.50 and your low right here, which is not for this time frame, but in this case, it would be about 4,100. As long as you're oscillating between there, technically speaking, should be considered healthy-ish consolidation for Boo laws. However, you will notice that the 618 Fibonacci retracement from the ultimate high to this low structure right here is right around that 4,500 number. That would imply that if you do get back above this region, not only have you, gotten above what I typically refer to as the bull trap-ish zone, you'd also be taking out the prior high on this, so you'd have a reversal at the same time as well, alongside, well, a higher low right over here. I would call this macro bullish and looking for moves back up towards 4,800 plus. And again, this is all coming on low volatility. So this whole correction has been on declining volatility. Let's see. What about the 2-day? Yeah, the 2-day looks actually quite good right here, reclaiming all major movement averages. Even has a drive of hidden bullish divergence that's pretty much, I wouldn't say it's definitely confirmed, but it's very likely to be confirmed, although we do have another day of trading left to go. And I imagine on momentum oscillators, we probably are, we certainly are pointed up right now on 12-hour Stokes, above 4,000. So looking good, I would say, from that perspective. Daily is also giving you upside momentum and rejecting the bearish control zone as long as above 41.65. If we can just see volatility start to tick up alongside this, continue outside of the bearish control zone, that would be actually quite powerful, and something that I'd definitely be paying attention to right now. Very short-term time frames, like a 4-hour, are getting up there, 4,100 on the 4-hour, and hourly is flippy-floppy at 43.40. So let's go down to the short-term timeframes now and see where corrections can come down to without destroying the current setup. And I would say that short-term, it's kind of similar to Bitcoin, right? In this case, as long as you're above your short-term range highs, which would be right here, and sorry, I do have too many lines on this chart. We really only need a couple of them right now, which would be 4190. I do look at this as, probably more or less fine, as well, it does look more or less fine right there. Below there, I would at least look for another move down around your $4,000 lows. And at that point, it's going to start to look a lot more like a breakdown. But until then, momentum oscillators are painting a little bit more of a bullish picture. I just want to see really above this 4,500 high, and that would look really, really good for a retest of pretty much your prior all-time highs and general continuation on the macro scale. Let's also go look at it from this angle over here, because we do have a monthly closure coming in tomorrow night, by the way, tomorrow fucking night, in case you didn't know. And what do you know, on the monthly Trollinger bands, we're gonna have Ethereum, Mr. Beaterall, is going to have a chance to close above the top side Trollinger band, which would imply, of course, volatility expanding alongside trend continuation, obviously, in this case. And, well, we already spoke about momentum, so that would look pretty damn good. And that would be met with the closure above 4,400 and very likely imply new all-time highs in December. So I do want to match this up just very briefly with this, because I know that this is probably going to be asked a little bit later. Ethereum Bitcoin chart. Again, I think that this chart is probably one of the more important charts in cryptocurrency land right now. It's probably one of the more painfully obvious ones. And any sort of a break above the topside structure of this, I think it's more of a formality right now, to be honest with you. But we would have a technical target all the way up to, about 9.2 to 9.5 million Satoshis. And as we went over in yesterday's video on the macro scale, it is important to recognize that, or at least what we showed, is that the macro direction of this asset right here, Ethereum versus Bitcoin, the macro direction has actually accurately gotten all of the macro direction shifts or the macro breakouts and breakdowns in Bitcoin and by extension the greater cryptocurrency landscape. So breaking above this region right here, I mean, it would be good enough, at least for myself, to call just general continuation on the whole market. And bull traps very unlikely to happen if that if that condition were to be met. It's very close. Still needs to close above about 7.7 million satoshis, but it is right around the corner right there. So I do quite like that, and hopefully that was helpful for Ethereum versus the dollar. And maybe I should offer up. Did I do an invalidation? Yeah, I did. Below 41.90. That would invalidate the short-term setup. Hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for Ethereum, sir.